Hi everyone, my name is Chukwuka Kenechkundife. I'm the director of the film Blood Debt. What inspired Blood Debt? Blood Debt is a film about the cost and the long-lasting effects of jungle justice in our communities, like in Nigeria as a whole. It was inspired by the history of vigilante violence and jungle justice that swept through our country back in the 90s and the early 2000s and all. I had to ask question about how the victims, or should I say the families or the loved ones who are left behind by the victims of this jungle justice and vigilante violence, how they are able to move on, or if they were able to move on, and how basically like how they have felt over the years and all. How long did it take to go from idea to the cinema? I mean, let's say give or take 2 years. I know we've wrapped production on the June 19th of 2024. Like we wrapped shooting, and then the film hit cinemas on June 19th of 2026. That's exactly 2 years, right? But before that, we had almost 6 months of writing. I mean, the story started developing like about a year before and all, yeah. So if you want to say like maybe roughly 2, 3 years, yeah. Our biggest challenge was funding, like getting the adequate funding that we needed for the film, right? I mean, we had a major financier for the project pull out of the project just before the shoot started. I mean, I'm a first time filmmaker, first time this is my debut feature film and all. So yeah, I feel like maybe I hadn't earned that trust yet. I mean, I had a couple of short films, right? But nothing this major. But yeah, the financier pulled out, and we ended up cutting down on our ambition, should I say, for the project. Right, we had to cut down our shoot days. We planned to shoot this film for 40. That's should I say 4 weeks, but we ended up cutting it to barely 2 weeks and all. And we had to cut down on the equipment. We had all these elaborate ideas to bring in cranes, to bring in a whole lot, like to do some fancy filmmaking and all, cinematography and all, but we had to cut down on it. We planned to shoot on 3 cameras at a time and all, but we cut down. We ended up shooting on just one red camera, right? So yeah, so we're literally run and gone on the project due to all that. I mean, in the end, the way the film turned out, I would say I'm really rather more grateful that it turned out the way it turned out, right? That we went the route we went, because I think it's the way the story was meant to be told. Yeah, the scene that was the hardest to shoot on this film was, should I say, the car chase? Yeah, the car chase, because I mean, we had all these plans going into that car chase. We planned to have like some epic car rigs, like we had a lot planned out, but like going into the that particular car chase, like I explained earlier, we had some budget constraints and all, but we needed it to be in there. So it was a very, should I say, we had to crack our heads, like we really had to. Although you need to watch a film to see the outcome, though, but yeah, that scene was a very challenging one to do. Then apart from that, there was a bridge scene where the guy fell into the lake and all. Like coming up with that scene was, although we had to figure out a creative way. I mean, like just recently, should I say, just not so that same year now, yeah, that same year Nollywood lost a one of its sons to a river, and also there was this whole thing around like acting on water or doing things around water and all. So we had to find creative ways to do that. So yeah, we had to build a section of the bridge railing, right? And we placed it on the bridge and shot at an angle where the actor could fall over, and then it looks like he's falling over the bridge. And then the splash in the water, we had to do it in a swimming pool. We had a GoPro under the water. I mean, I was the stunt double for that bit, right? So I fell backwards into the pool, and yeah, we captured that shot. And I mean, you can't even tell. I mean, that's what filmmaking is about. Like, it's magic, right? Make believe. No, yeah. So I mean, the things I'm most proud of, like I just mentioned these two things, the car chase and the bridge scene. Yeah, I'm really proud of those two things. Yeah, and of course the first, not the first scene, but that's opening act of the film in general, right? The whole like vigilante killing, chopping off the guy's head and all that stuff. Like I know it's very graphic and people have to take it with a grain of salt and all, yeah, but it is what it is. We set out to make a story that's real, that people would relate, like people would feel, like the impact, right? So yeah, so there was no, we couldn't censor a lot of things in the end. So it had to be what it is. It was what it is. A whole lot of the film was improvised. We had to improvise a lot. I mean, you can't go into making a film. I know we have always have all these elaborate storyboards, short list and all that stuff. But when you're in the middle of the shoot itself, like things present themselves differently. I mean, so it's good to have all those things in hand because it helps you to move faster when it comes down to this. But yeah, we had to improvise a lot as it turned out. I'm grateful for the actors that we had. They were very professional. They were very good at their craft. Patrick, Jide Kene, Tony Umez, Uzamaka Power, Shegu Arinze. Like these guys, I'm just naming a few of them, right? But they were really good at their craft, right? They were able to do this improv acting and when the film called for it, and then the film called for it a lot, and yeah, so they delivered in that regard. um I don't know, you have to see their acting to be a judge of that. Yeah, so we did improvise a lot. We improvised on even in the camera department, we improvised rigs. There was a scene where they were laying on the bed. That is also Amaka and Jide, they were on the bed. So the rig that we're supposed to use, right, for that scene didn't come in time. Or should I say, we didn't have the rig. Let me not say it didn't come in on time. We didn't have the rig. So we had to improvise something like like we basically jerry rigged something with two systems, like hooked up the camera in the middle, and yeah, we're able to shoot that top down shot, and it came out very well. Like one of the best shots in the film, if you ask me. Yeah, but it was improvised. So were there scenes that we caught that I wish people could have seen? Yeah, there were a few of them. There was this particular scene that was supposed to be like an elaborate house party scene, should I say, like a child, like a birthday supposed to be. It was supposed to be a birthday for one of the police characters. That's Yisa. So I wish we shot that scene because that scene was supposed to show the relationship dynamics among the detectives and the police guys, right? And also to introduce the villain characters, like character more, right? So I really wished we did that, but due to budget constraints, it was going to be a bit not so expensive, but in respect to our budget, right, it was going to be expensive to do. So we had to cut it out. Um, yeah, so I know it hurts the story in the end, but yeah, the film managed to do without it. But I wished we shot that. It would have made the story like added more cohesion, right, to the character dynamics and all. So that's the bandage on the little boy's on the boy's hand. That's a boy's hand. That bandage is as a result of the fact that a boy also tried to commit suicide like the mother did. I mean, he walked into the room and saw the dead mother and he picked up the knife. That was all we showed. Then later we see the bandage on his hand. So that bandage is supposed to be that he literally committed suicide, but he survived it. Maybe he was rescued by, we don't know, but that was implied. So yeah, so that bandage just shows that, and then in the end, when it was revealed, we see that yeah, there's an injury there. That was as a result of that committing suicide or attempting to commit suicide. I think people missed it, or it flew over some people's head. Yeah, so why we chose the themes we went with for the film? I mean, a story like this is really I mean, the story tells itself, right? And then the theme comes from the story. But then the choice of the vengeance and the forgiveness part of the theme. Yeah, we chose to go that direction, or should I say, rather, I chose to go that direction because we're in a country, or should I say, we're in a world that's bleeding so much, right? There's a whole lot of malice in people's hearts. I carry a whole lot of malice and a wish of vengeance in me, right? But you know that in the end, the only thing that can wash away this malice and this vengeance from people's hearts is forgiveness, right? So that's why I chose the theme of forgiveness and like forgiveness over vengeance for the film and all. Yeah, so that's it basically. Blood Debt is not particularly based on a true story, right? But as I've mentioned already, it's based on true historic events. I mean, we had all this vigilante violence and jungle justice, like even till now, they still happen, right? And then we know victims we know victims. Yeah, we know victims of these jungle justices and vigilante violence, right? And we know the family members they left behind. We know the stigma that comes with these things. We know how these family members have been traumatized, right, over the years. People live with these traumas like it's real, like it's very, very real. Yeah, so why did I end the film the way I did? So, like I tried to explain earlier, I mean, vengeance is a very strong, should I say, emotion, right? Like people, let's say in Nigeria where we are now, people have experienced a whole lot. I mean, something as little as being bullied in secondary school by a senior student, you carry that grudge for the rest of your life. Some people do, right? And they want to pay back somehow, right? So there's always people live in this country. Like Nigeria is such a tough place, like such a hard place that people you see every day carry some kind of grudge, some kind of vengeance in their hearts every day. So yeah, so I chose to end the film the way I ended it to tell people that there's more to life than this vengeance, right? Uh, that we don't need to carry this vengeance in our heart, like we don't need to carry this malice. That I was also posing a question, or should I say, posing the idea that forgiveness is what cures all, right? That the only way out of this cycle of vengeance, or yeah, as is the title of the film is blood debt, right? So the only way a blood debt can be settled is if at some point forgiveness comes in, right? Because okay, take you see the idea of vengeance now. This person kills somebody's father. That somebody grows up, kills that person. That person's son grows up, kills that person. Like it's like that. So everybody is growing up and seeking vengeance. So it's at the point where one child that the parent was killed grows up and chooses forgiveness. That's where the blood debt is being paid. It's literally paid, right? So yeah, so the idea of the way I ended this film is just to say basically that forgiveness is how the blood debt is paid. Nwagu was my favorite character to write, or should I say Okuro? I mean, these are the two key characters in the film. But who was my favorite among them? Should I let me just say Nwagu because Nwagu is really a catalyst in the film. Like And I don't want to spoil the film and all, but yeah, let me just say Nwagu. Okoro was an interesting character to write. The whole family, like his family, wahala, like all that stuff, his past, bringing in his past history of him being a vigilante, basically, also, right? Yeah, so I think in all, we had layered characters in the film. Yeah, so there are interesting characters in the film. But yeah, definitely Nwagu and Okoro. Was there a message I hoped audiences would leave with? I mean, I think I've said that with trying to talk about the theme and all. I wanted the audience to leave the cinema with the idea, right? Or with the understanding that, like, at least from my point of view, that forgiveness is the ultimate, like, it's just the ultimate, it should be our ultimate goal. Yeah. You can have malice, you can bear vengeance in your heart, you can have all these angry thoughts and all that. But the moment you are able to add forgiveness or at least hold forgiveness into your, like, welcome forgiveness into your heart, all these things just melt away, like they just die off, right? So, yeah. So, the message I wanted people to get from the film is forgiveness. We had some fun experiences on sets. There was something that was fun that was going on sets. There was this guy dancing, then Ugodna, they were guitar players and they could sing. So they were always like giving us tunes and all that. So that was a fun thing that was happening on sets. It was a fun production, even though things were kind of at some point it was like things were not working out or going fine and all, but the spirit of the crew members, even the cast members, was always like high, right? They were always in a good mood, and I can't remember like having seeing people having confrontations or like any kind of fracas on set. So it was a fun set. There were some things that happened that delays production, but I won't say they were disasters per se. In that almost to the level of almost stopping production. That was or let's say a disaster that was averted. We almost when we're shooting the car chasing, like we almost had like a serious accident, even though we had safety measures in place, right? So which I mean, almost, but it didn't happen. But in the end, the word accidents is because is used because it's accidents, right? Even if you have all the safety, even if you have everything in place, right? Accidents happen. So that's why they're called accidents. So we're grateful to God that it didn't happen, it was averted. And if it had happened, it would have like really caused a serious dent in the production. How many shooting days did the film take? So the film took about 14 days. Yeah, about 14 days. Originally, we planned to shoot like 28 days, right? But due to the budget constraints that I mentioned earlier, we had to cut down on the shoot days. Yeah. So we shot on the red helium. Yeah, shot on the helium 8K and DZO Vespid primes. Those were the lenses that we used. What was our budget range? Um, I don't know if I'm at liberty to disclose that here. I know the production team, they are still going to make this public, but just know that it wasn't a lot. Yeah. The film was relatively a low budget film. Yeah. But I mean, it's not about the budget, it's about the story, it's about the outcome in the end. Yeah. Which location was the most difficult to secure? I don't know. I won't say we had difficulties securing any of the locations. Like the locations really came easy in the end. And then we counted on goodwill of people we knew, right? Friends and family, right? And they really came through for us. And we're really appreciative for all this. So yeah, we didn't really have I can't think of any location that was tough to secure, particularly. How many people worked on the film? I don't know, anywhere from 40, 50 people. I don't know, that's counting plus the like entire cast and crew, I guess, and extras. I think if we add extras, we're looking at maybe somewhere around like 100 plus. 100 plus people worked on the film. At least from the top of my head now. I think, but I have to go check. How did it feel seeing the film in cinemas? I mean, it felt very good. This is my first feature film. I've done a few short films which I've watched in cinemas, but it wasn't released in cinemas. So this is a first major release that I'm experiencing in my life when it comes to films, right? And it felt so good seeing my artwork, basically my art piece being displayed, being on display nationwide in cinema. So yeah, I felt very good, and I'm really grateful to Film One, who picked up the film for distribution and all. Yeah, I'm really grateful for that. I've never had this experience before, and it's really a mind blowing, should I say, surreal experience. I'm still trying to, you know, get used to it and all. Yeah, so it felt really good. What was the most emotional moment during this journey? Ah, I won't say a moment. Should I say an emotional period during the journey? You know how you finish shooting something, finish shooting a project, and then you get back home or you get back to the editing table, and in your mind you didn't meet up with the expectations you had for the project and all. So you feel there's always this low energy, right, in that window. So now going into the edit and finishing the first cut and refining the first cut, and you start seeing the potential, then you start doing the scoring and all that, doing a bit of color grading. Like when the film starts coming together, then you start seeing the potential. Like I think like this is the most emotional like phase of any project, at least of this project as far as I know. I've not done so many feature films at this scale. So yeah, so that was the most emotional moment for me. And then being that I was the editor and the sound editor, the sound design, the colorist and all. Like it was at the point when the film started making sense, like looking good, sounding good. That was when I started feeling good. I started feeling like this. How do I just start feeling this love for the project come back and all. So yeah, so it was a very emotional phase for me. Like from the end of shoots to the point when the film started coming together, like sounding and looking good. Yeah. I mean, being my first experience, I would say the PR, right? And then being a film with such low budget and all, the PR was a very surprising experience. I don't know if I should be saying these things, but I guess I'm just going to say them. So the PR process, it's something that was so new and so strange to us as first-time filmmakers, like having to pay for should I say reach for publicity like in certain ways, right? The most shocking, or should I say the most interesting of it was like movie reviews. Like I never knew that as filmmakers, after making films, you have to pay some movie review people, like people who do critics, to review your movie. Like it was strange. I'm not like they were all asking for money and all. Like the people who ended up reviewing the film, we didn't pay them a dime, right? So, but there were a handful of them who were requesting that we paid them for them to review the film, which didn't make sense, and it was very surprising to the point that one of them literally came back because we ignored his quotes. He said he was going to send us a quote, and we saw the quote and we ignored him, and he came back, like he came back for us, like literally came to assassinate us, like to basically topple or make us lose in the cinema or something. I don't know. I'll mention his name. His name is Creative XX, right? So, I mean, you can go and see the review he did of us, like it's on Instagram, right? Like a very nasty review of the film. Um, I don't know. I don't want to say that. Oh, I can say it's he just made some blunders. He didn't doesn't even understand filmmaking in any way. He was making comments that didn't make sense. He said something about foreshadowing being obvious and all that. Foreshadowing is something that you're supposed to make obvious so that it doesn't fly over, be under your audience's head, right? So that when you pay it off, it makes sense. And also, I don't know where he read his film writing and all that. And yeah, he said the cinematography of the film was abysmal and a waste, serious waste of his time and all. Then he gave us a 4/10. I don't know if you, at least you've seen the trailer, right? You've seen the trailer, you've seen, we posted a handful of clips from the film. So if at least if that's all you managed to see about the film, you can tell me now, was it abysmal? Like, did it warrant the word abysmal? I know, and I can beat my chest any day that my DPs knew what they were doing, and we had a good cinematography. At least not the best in the world. It's not the best in the world, but at least it was good, right? So yeah, so I think that's. Sorry, I ranted about this guy, right? But yeah, I think this aspect of the theatrical release is something that really shocks me. How you don't get attention if you don't pay for the attention, right? And then also how like I'm not trying to throw shades on Nigerians, but I feel like Nigerians need to rethink their consumption of cinema in Nigeria, right? Because we go online every day, you see people complaining about bad films, bad films, bad films, right? And then the audience, they only pay attention to the people who have money to pay for the PR. And then when a bad film has money to pay for PR, they pay for PR. You see it and you go and consume it, right? Because that's what's in your face, and you ignore the ones that are not in your face. I mean, I'm not trying to justify the fact that we didn't have the budget for PR or anything. That's not my intention, but I'm just saying that we need to look out for what makes good films, right? We see trailers out there all the time, and I mean, you can always tell a good film from the trailer. So if you see a good trailer, you know the film is bound to be good. So yeah, so at least we should. I don't even know. I really don't know what I'm saying about this whole thing, sha, but yeah, shocking. It was shocking. That was shocking, man. First of all, I wouldn't say it's specific to this project, the lesson I learned, but it's a lesson that I've learned over time, I would say. So from making a couple of short films, especially like when I made the major in 2023. So I learned something, right? That no matter what, finish the shoots, right? No matter how things are going on set, right? If you're meant to shoot a car scene and you don't have cars to shoot the scene, just have your actors stand under a tree and have that dialogue. If you're meant to shoot a scene in a castle, right, and for some reason you don't have the castle on the shoot day, shoot under a tree, right? It's better you went out to shoot a film and you end up shooting a film with your actors standing around under a tree and delivering their dialogue than you went out to shoot a film and you came back with nothing, right? So that's something I learned from shooting the major and from shooting this film. In the major, I remember specifically we were supposed to shoot in a barracks. We wrote the letters, we did everything we needed to do, right? But we couldn't get the barracks by the time the shoot day was approaching. What did we do? We went to a school in Niger State. So we just went there and we turned the classroom into classrooms into barracks. Shot the front of the admin block, like the military admin block, right? And then the audience just accepted it, right? And it made sense. I'm not saying it didn't make sense. It actually made sense. It worked perfectly. In this film now, the blood depth, like there were scenes that were supposed to shoot with certain kind of equipment which we couldn't secure, right, due to budgetary constraints and all. What did we do? When the time came, I mean, we're already shooting it. We already had in mind that most of the film will be handheld and all. So we just leaned into that aesthetic, right? So the driving scene, there was a driving scene between the two detectives, a conversation in the car. So we had plans for elaborate car rigs and all that stuff. But when the shoot day came, due to budgetary constraints again, we couldn't get the right rigs. We even rented something, but it wasn't strong enough for the red camera. So we, instead of scrapping the scene or postponing it, we said to shoot it, but have the DP sit behind them in the car. And we shot from the back seats. And it worked, right? And then it was after shooting that scene that like even watching some major cinema movies or major films in the world right now, I'm seeing that like even the greatest or the best DPs just lean like choose to do stuff like that. I don't know, maybe it's an aesthetic choice or for speed or for convenience or whatever, but it's something that people do. And I've never really, paid attention to it. I've always had in mind that shooting a car scene, we need all these elaborate car rigs and all. But we did the handheld from behind the actors in the car and it works perfectly. So yeah, so that's one lesson I would say I've learned in the short time that I've done this film thing, is that no matter what, shoot the film. Just shoot it. Was there ever a point I thought the film wouldn't get finished? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say there wasn't, but like from the last question you asked, I said like no matter what, just shoot it. So we hit all these roadblocks, but because we had this mindset, right, to just do something. There was the final confrontation scene between the should I say the villain and the killer? Yeah. The plan we had for that scene, I mean, we shot that scene in the wrong location. Like there was a whole continuity error with that I mean, because I'll say because of our choice of angles, it didn't show, right? So we had a complete location continuity blunder with that bit, right? But because we were already out of time, we already had our actor's flight to leave Abuja was that evening and all, and we couldn't afford to like tie him down for that, and he couldn't afford to be tied down also. So we had to improvise, like we had to, just rush and do something. So like we banked on the actors to improvise the scene, right? Which they did. I won't say it came out like the best. It's not the best like scene in the film. To be honest, I see every time I watch the scene, I see, yeah, I see it, but it worked, right? So that's that thing. So that's that thing about just having in mind that no matter what, you're going to finish the film. So did we have in mind that the film was never going to get finished? I mean, shooting the scene like that we didn't know if, like, we didn't really trust what we shot, right? It was until the edits or some refined, like, points of refining and refining the edits that bit even started to work fine in the story, right? And then there was because bringing back these actors was going to be expensive, and we were completely out of funding, out of budget and all. Like we're overboard already. So yeah, there are these moments that we felt like the film wasn't going to get finished, but we had in mind that we wanted to finish the film, and we finished the film. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like people genuinely loved the film, right? I feel like they genuinely loved the film. Like being in the cinema with people and you see how they react to certain scenes in the film. like it shows that a lot of things worked, like more things worked than what didn't work. And then I feel like the story is a kind of story that keeps you curious, right? So seeing the audience in the cinema, I remember when we did the screening, the should I say first screening we did just to test the audience reaction, the test screening we did. The cinema had a gallery, right, where you could watch people from upstairs while they watched the film. So I was literally up there watching the audience, a hall packed with over 100 people, right? And nobody was on their phones, nobody was sleeping, everybody was glued to the screen, right? And then there are moments in the film. I mean, after the first act, the second act was kind of what did VDK or this guy on YouTube call YouTube said it's lulling, right? Like it's kind of slow paced and all, but there was curiosity, right? The film was able to build a curiosity, right? And then it sustained that whole second act. But by the third act, the film was explosive, right? So it had a very strong first act, a not so strong second act, then an explosive third act, right? But throughout, there was a strong curiosity that was maintained throughout the film. And then you feel it in the cinema, like watching the audience. You see them when you're expecting them to maybe get bored or something, but that curiosity keeps them, like it drives their attention and yeah. So I feel like every single time I've been in the theater with people watching the film, I've always like I've felt good about the audience reactions and all. So yeah, and then after the film, they always have these good things to say about the film, right? About the story, about the some of the exciting scenes and all that. So yeah. As far as honest reviews go or interpretations, I feel like different people in the audience. There was this comment on IMDb who the lady talked about her having a similar kind of experience about a friend, or should I say a girl she knows that used to be like the life of the party and all, but because the brother was killed due to vigilante, or should I say jungle justice and all, like it scarred her entire family. And the girl who used to be a life of the party became like a ghost of herself. Like she lost all her sense of humor, all her joy and everything. So, and I personally, I have a similar experience like that. I have family who, or should I say, as a I'm a member of a family who has experienced vigilante violence and jungle justice on a major scale, right? So, yeah, so that particular review resonated with me the most because I see from her point of view that she felt the story, right? The way I'm feeling the story, which I feel like some people would not feel it that way because, God forbid, anybody has this first-hand experience, right? So, yeah, so that particular review resonated, like it really hits home. Does audience reaction change how you see your own film? I mean, yeah, it does. It does. It greatly it affects you as a filmmaker because in the end, when you make a film, you make a film for your audience, right? No filmmaker or storyteller tells a story for themselves. You tell your story, yes, but you tell it for other people. You tell it to an audience because in the end, you made this film for the audience, as I said. So it's really going to change how you see the film because it's how they see the film is how you're going to see the film ultimately, right? So if you set out to make a good film and the audience see it as a bad film and you're critical enough, like you're should I say you're reasonable enough to understand their point of view, you are definitely going to end up seeing your film as a bad film, right? Or you make a film and you think it's a bad film or it's not so good, and then it goes to the cinema all right, or it goes to viewing and the audience see it as a good film, right? And you see the good elements in the film, like it makes you start to appreciate the film more. So what the audience think about the story really affects or shapes you as a filmmaker. So it's just like if you set out to make something scary, right? I don't know how to put it, set out to make something scary and the audience end up laughing, right? So it makes you understand that you're not particularly a scary movie filmmaker. You're a comedian, right? So yeah, I mean that's quite extreme. That example is quite extreme, but you get my point, right? So the audience really shapes you as a filmmaker. So the audience reaction matters a lot. Yeah, it's extremely difficult making a feature film as an independent filmmaker in Nigeria, right? I mean, we are mostly independent filmmakers in Nollywood, actually. Um, it's quite difficult in the sense that funding, it's not really something we have, like adequate funding. So it's hard to raise, I mean, most of the time, like this film, we literally raised the funding by ourselves, right? And we made the film ourselves, did everything ourselves, even released or did marketing and all that stuff ourselves. So it's a really tough process, if you ask me. Like, I won't lie, that it's not tough. I mean, we keep saying things like we love what we do, we love the fact that we are filmmakers and all, but not in Nigeria, right? You can think you love it so much until you set out to actually make a commercial film. Yeah, you're not going to love it, trust me. It's a very hard and difficult route. Like the country, I don't want to speak ill of Nigeria here, but the country as a whole needs to do better. The government needs to do better in this regard. Yeah, so yeah, and was the cinema release worth it? It was worth it. It was worth it. I would, I think I would always want to release a film in the cinema no matter what. What advice would I give to first-time filmmakers? Hmm. I mean, I'm a first-time filmmaker. This is my first feature film also. So, what advice? I mean, I've said it, right? I've said it somewhere in this interview already. That finish what you set out to make, no matter what. Like, no matter what. Like I said, if you're supposed to shoot a car scene and you don't have a car, let your actor stand under a mango tree, shoot the scene. If for some reason your cameras were taken away from you, use your phones, right, to continue the shots. Don't stop production for any reason. It's better you finish it and come back later to redo it than you don't finish it at all. It's better you go out to make a film and you come back with a shitty film than you go out to make a film and you come back with nothing, right? So this is my advice to first timers, right? I did it. I did with my short film, I did with my feature film. Nothing was going to stop me from wrapping production. And I wrapped production. And it's only when you manage to wrap production that you have something to edit and you have a product in the end. So just finish it. That is my advice. Let me say what people don't realize about making films is that it is never it the outcome is never what you intended, right? That's why there's always that saying that a film is made in the edits, right? Not in pre-production, not in production. It's literally in post-production, right? So a film is never what you set out for it to be. So that's one thing I feel like people don't know. And I feel like more filmmakers should have that at the back of their mind or back of their head when they go into making a film. How do you finance a feature film? I'm really not an authority in this to speak in this regard, right? Because the way I managed to finance this film was friends and family contribution and my own contribution, which is not the way to go. But I mean, I set out to make a film. I mean, we managed to secure funding from a financier, but it pulled out at some point, as I said. So, but we had to make the film and we had to make two. So we financed it with what we had or what we could find. We literally made two, right? So, yeah, I'm not an authority to speak in this regards, but if the passion drives you, go with the flow. That's it. I'm not saying you should go and sell your house or sell your car or do anything drastic. I know I did some drastic things, but I'm not advising anybody to do the same. Just go with the flow. That's all I can say. Or at least go with the flow as much as you can. Flow with the flow. Even before shooting this film was just a story from an archive, from a collection of stories, right? We picked this particular film because it was what the budget we had could do at the moment. So yeah, so there's a whole lot in the works. Basically, we have a lot of stories already in development. I have an Igbo epic fantasy love story that sets in. I don't want to give too much away yet, but it's 100% Igbo epic, not your regular Nigerian epic. So yeah, so we have a lot in the works. So as far as these blood depths, if there's more, we're expecting more from blood depths. Yeah, we're expecting more, but not blood depths. So we have the character in the film, Pretender Danjuma Okoro. So he's a very strong character. We have stories that are prequels. Or should I not, let me not say stories. It's going to sound like too much, but we have a story in development, or that we developed to some extent, that is a prequel, right? In the film, there was all this flashback, like past, that he had this past. Yeah, so we have that as a film. Then we have a sequel for that same character, a film that's a Pan-African film. Yeah, a Pan-African film. It's written as Pan-African film. So the film is supposed to take place in 3 or 4 African countries. So already right now, we know the film is taking place in Nigeria, South Africa, and Namibia, right? And a little bit in Kenya. That's all we know so far from where the story is at. So yeah, so we have a lot in the works. We are cooking. We're actually cooking. So watch this space. Yeah, so as for Blood Depth itself, it's leaving the cinema soon. It probably has left the cinema by the time you're watching this, or you can't find it easily now in the cinemas. It's only a select cinemas who are showing it. But we don't have anything certain yet, but we know we are trying to get it to streaming platforms. We are hoping for the likes of the Netflix and the Primes and all that to get it into one of those platforms. But yeah, just watch out. I'm sure it's going to come out somewhere, and you're going to still have the chance to watch the film after the cinematic release. Hi everyone, my name is Chukwuka Kenechkundife. I'm the director of the film Blood Debt, which was released on June 19th and is currently still showing in cinemas if you can find it, right? So the film, it's nearing the end of its theatrical run here in Nigeria. So of course, it's being taken out of cinemas slowly. So eventually we are going to pull the plug, right? Because sales has dwindled and all. So, but yeah, I want to thank everyone who came out to watch the film. We really appreciate you guys. We appreciate all the kind words. We appreciate all your reviews. And we are happy that you guys really enjoyed the film. It means a lot to us. Like, it's one thing for you to make a film, then it's another thing for your audience to enjoy the film. So it makes us happy to know that you guys genuinely enjoy this film. It means a lot. Yeah, so, but we want to hear more, right? We want to hear what you guys really think about this film. I know you watched the film, you enjoyed the film and all, but there were still some things that you felt we didn't do well or that could have been better. We want to hear these things, right? Come to wherever you see our post, come to the comment section, let us know, say it. make a post about it, say it, tag us, right? Want to hear, want to know, because as young filmmakers, right, we want to be good at this, and we want to know what we have done wrongly so we can improve. So please do us a favor and give us that honest review. We need it. I mean, you can go to like IMDb, right? Find the film, just search Blood Debt. It's going to pop up on IMDb. Register and give us a review right there. We want to know, right? Please, we would appreciate that. Then want to say a big thank you to Film One. We want to appreciate you guys for picking up this film for distribution. It means a lot to us, right? As first-time filmmakers, you don't know how grateful we are for this, but we are really grateful for this. We met you guys at AFCM AFRIF last year, and we didn't know jack about this whole selling a film or marketing a film or whatever. All we knew is that we had a film and we came to AFRIF, right? And we met with you guys, and you guys were, you guys picked up the film. It means a lot to us. We just want to say thank you. We appreciate you. Want to say a big thank you to every single person who supported this project, right? Who gave us their widow's mites, who whatever kind of support you gave to us was really, really appreciated. Like even you who went to the cinema to watch the film, right? That's more money. That money you paid means a lot to us, right? It's the difference between us not making the making or not making the next film, right? So we really, really, really appreciate you guys. Every single one of you who went out to watch the film were a big financial contribution to this project. If you don't know, I'm letting you know it. So really appreciate you. So that being said, we plan to make more films. This is not the end, right? And then as we keep saying, financing is our biggest challenge. So we need help in that regard. If you know how we can get this funding, how to get this financing, please come through. Let us show us the way, basically, right? If you are the financier yourself, we are filmmakers, finance us. We need your financing. So yeah, we just need all the support we can get in this process. Even if you are a film or a showrunner and you know how we can do these things better, how we can make our next project better, please come through and help us do the next one better. Thank you very much. We appreciate you once again, and see you when we release the next one.